there are things that happen for all of us. So we just have to try to be more aware of it and then also more forgiving. But when it happens, not so much brush it off, but just kind of move on from it and try not to dwell, because it's a moment in time and you have to look at the bigger picture. 9 times it'll land, sometimes it won't. And sometimes I will get it wrong, but I think I'm at the point where I'd rather say something than hold in my ideas, because it's working. It's working. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Beta Tested. This is the podcast where we explore the journeys along the way to what is not perfection. As the greatest leaders in media, ad tech, and advertising continue to learn on the job. I'm Stacy Bohrer. Let's get to it. Today, I have a special treat for you. This is a live episode. Look who I have here.
A dog.
Please introduce yourself, Sarah.
My name is Sarah. My last name is Caputo, and we are excited to be here. All of us, with the puppies and everything.
We were doing this remotely, and we're like, wait, we're both in Chicago. Why are we not together?
Yeah, the power outage at my house was serendipitous.
Yeah, really.
It really was, actually.
And this is your big debut.
Oh.
But I thought we might have some wine as we have a really casual conversation about, frankly, the badass I've come to know in a very short amount of time. Would that be cool?
I'm excited to learn more about you.
Okay, well, that's not what this is about.
Super fun. This is going to be enlightening for all of us, including ourselves.
Okay, so the whole premise of Beta Tested is that you, Sarah, from where I've been sitting, watching you through Digidate, Ad Exchanger, LinkedIn, your voice is phenomenal. You've come across as a brave, intelligent star that I really look up to. And then I got to meet you, and you were everything that I was hoping you would be and more. But also, I've been obsessed with the idea that nobody is perfect. Yes. But from here, you seem so. You do. But I know it's not true.
I always say talk to my kids, and then we'll get somewhere.
Well, let's talk. So tell us what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about the journey, and I'll get us some wine.
Yeah. Welcome, Josh, to the scene. I definitely didn't have a plan going out on my own, which is what I did a year and 8 months ago now. And I actually resigned from my chief digital officer job on a whim. On a Friday night, because I was trying to meet with partners I had known for years from my Allstate days, meet with other agencies and brands. And I hadn't had a chance to do that in so much time. I couldn't even really articulate it. And I couldn't even get away for that event. My phone was ringing off the hook. I had been working 60 hours a week, which is not a complaint. It's just more of the nature of what pushed me to do it. And in that time, I felt that I was losing my edge. I really don't like not feeling challenged. To me, being uncomfortable feels more comfortable, if that makes sense.
It does, unfortunately.
And when that doesn't happen, I as a single mom, only income, no family, no.
Wait, single mom and you go on a whim?
Yeah. Whoa, it's a little bit crazy, actually. I did that.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. I wanted to make sure I was staying in the tech. I feel like go-to-market, brand positioning, like I checked that box. And where I really started learning how to be more powerful with business results and driving revenue and helping companies was when I got rooted in technology, data, and analytics. So now I call that like a U-shaped marketer, where I focus on the front end, go to market, what's driving revenue, what is the business, the market conditions, and then I work on that back end of the data and analytics and foundation of what drives that revenue. And then in the middle, I can do a playbook and get out. So that's what I've been doing at a really, really high level. At 5 a.m. on Monday morning, I'm like, okay, now I need to come up with a name. there's some things that we changed, but I was like, I need to make up a name. I need to go.
That was Friday and that was Monday.
Monday morning at 5 a.m., I came up with fraction method. I had the logo and domain by Wednesday. And then the rest is kind of how things have been playing out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I knew you were brave. That takes so much courage.
Or stupidity.
No, I don't think so, because your reputation precedes you, and it feels from where I'm sitting that momentum is with you in a big way, and people are paying attention to what you have to say with credibility and taking action from the things you're not even saying directly to them, but just to the ether, you're having an impact. So just to back up, have you always been brave?
No, I mean, yes and no, I would say. I've always done things that were independent. I grew up without food, without health care. In my profile, I decided to put that, single mom, back of a 1970 tank of a Mercury Monterey. Look it up. That's the car that was driven to school. No seatbelts because it wasn't ready when. Rusted out floor I would watch on the highway under my feet. I fell out of that car and another car because the door. So basically uncomfortable. That's why I'm terrified of not doing well. And it's something where I've always been independent, where I didn't rely on others. I walked myself to school when I was literally 6, a mile away. Not safe, but, we sat on the floor because of gunshots. And so I know what that other side looks like, and I don't want to revisit it. And I am thankful for it because it's given me so much perspective to find joy in life and so many things. It's crazy, the joy I find every single day. And it's also why I'm so excited and feel blessed to be doing what I'm doing around people like you. I'm seriously so excited about the relationship we're starting to have. You're brilliant. Yes.
Thank you. I threw a lot of wows in there. No, not at all, because it really helps with all of it, but it makes it that much more striking that you were brave in that moment, because you know what dark looks like.
Yeah.
And you would not want to go back there, which you said, and yet you took that leap because you believe in yourself.
Yeah, when you only have yourself to rely on and you kind of over-index on that to a fault sometimes, just to be very self-aware, then, it becomes something where it might seem a little bit more brave to others, but really it's just, Tuesday, or in this case, Thursday to me. So
you're like, I've done it before. I can effing do it. If I had to, I can make something out of nothing. And by the way, now you're fueling your passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. And my kids are watching it. My 10-year-old is just, he says he's proud of me. He told me I had a video, I got caught it on video the other day, how proud of me he is all the time.
Yes. Are you proud of you?
I am now. Yeah. But before I other hands are, yeah, no, this is brilliant. I love this angle because I think it's relatable probably and hopefully in a lot of different ways. No one has to have the Mercury Monterey. Everyone's story has something. You could grow up with so much money and that could be isolating as well. So I think that it's relatable in so many different ways. And I think that the more raw that we can be and personable we can be, the better the relationships, the trust, and kind of the work.
100%, because now you're building a foundation that enables me to say my imperfections, or the things like you said gunshots, and it made me think, I wonder how she got over trauma, because I still am clawing my way out of some, so yeah. Thank you for trusting me.
No, I definitely appreciate that. And, we'll work on everything together. But yeah, it's always an ongoing thing. Cheers to us.
So how do you bridge the gap between I wasn't always brave to taking that leap? And then what was the conversation with yourself?
The first leap I took was I had a baby at 22 and I moved here for my now ex-husband alone with no one, with a baby and without an undergrad, which I still haven't completed.
Really?
So that's how I kind of started. And then I just worked my ass off. I decided I was going to be the one to outwork everyone. And then I decided I was going to be the one that was going to ask questions if I didn't know something. So every little bit kind of got me further. And every single time I did that, that playbook worked for me. So I kind of just repeated that for quite literally over a decade.
The questions that I always say, I think the smartest people are the curious people. And in your line of work, and maybe hopefully this lands.
Yeah.
There's no way it wasn't because of critical questions that other people are either not taking their brain far enough to ask or afraid to ask that you asked anyway.
Yeah, I would say asking questions is important. And I always hear people say, maybe this is a dumb question. I used to say that all the time. Now I still say things I shouldn't about myself. I'm not very technical. The amount of people, Veronica Ribson, every week, stop saying that. She's
Yes.
Hello, Veronica, I love you. Shout out to her. I think on the one part where it's questions that people don't think of to ask.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. I think that, just ask questions is the rule, and don't be afraid to ask them would just be the advice that we all are giving and should give.
I get this vision of you when maybe you were working Allstate, dusting off an old book, and at the bottom, the image on the cover of the book is the truth, and you're sorting your way through until you get to that damn truth.
You were so spot on.
Really?
Yeah, you really are. And it's not that whole idea of that, yes, because I'll say, okay, well, what is this? And it's at no stone unturned is what they used to call me, because I would make sure to kind of cover all bases before I would kind of get the information. But then I get out, it's called high fact find sometimes. I'm high fact find in some cases, and then I will come back and you're going to be at a point where you're 80% there, and then you get feedback and come back. So that's efficient because I'm getting a lot of the information up front. Other cases, I can do a lot with a little, figure it out, and then come back. But at Allstate, you had to be really specific about the business. What's driving money? How are we distributing? Who are the players? What are the challenges? All the things. So that had to be to the point where it was that dusting off to make sure everything was there so that we had cohesive strategy and that be able to answer questions to my own leadership when they would come up.
There are a lot of people that I've talked to that are excited about this podcast who are experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Is it possible you have any?
You do. We all do. Sometimes.
I think we all do, right?
Well, no, there's people I've met that.
It starts to dissipate a little bit if you're proactive about it, I find. But I'm wondering, what advice could you give, or do you give yourself when you're feeling it in the moment?
I frame it differently into, wow, how is it that I've been able to get myself in a position or I'm able to do this? Instead of, well, I've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've never done it before becomes, wow, I've never done it before. And psychological framing, it can take you a very long way in general. You know that already. And I know you have a daughter, and I'm sure you're teaching her that. I'm trying to teach my kids that negative self-talk is not great. We all have it. So the more you continue on that path of reframing, part of me knows I get it wrong. And that's what terrifies me. And I still say my opinions because, to your point when you started this, is you could be perfectly imperfect. No one's perfect. No one's going to actually know it all. And you look at other people and think you assume they do. They don't. And if they say they do, they're wrong. And I think that we should just be okay with that and have constructive conversations. No one should agree 100% on everything. We have to be comfortable in disagreement as long as it's constructive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people come at me and it's not constructive and it doesn't feel so great. That used to terrify me and make me
the confrontation of it.
Yes. But now I'm just okay, that's maybe more a reflection of them or a moment they were in. And this happened to me recently. I commented on a DSP and their post. And I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. This one part does, but this other part doesn't. And the CEO was like, that's not logical. And I was like, well, that might not be the way to frame it. But I'm like, also, I teach on this to the company I was referring to. So the fact that he said, that's not logical, he's like, come on, like, basically, like, get some common sense.
Yeah, that's like a big takeaway. It's like, wait, that one, oh, that's a little rude. Thank you. But that hurts. That could hurt.
Normally, that would have, a year ago even probably made me go, oh, I don't know if I want to put myself out there again. And it did make me question, like, I'm like, why am I questioning myself? I know this. I know the data. I know identity resolution and how ID mapping works enough to know that I'm like this. So it's just an example of when someone does that, or they're either having a bad day. I can come across poorly sometimes, quick, impatient. There are things that happen for all of us. So we just have to try to be more aware of it, and then also more forgiving. But when it happens, not so much brush it off, but just kind of move on from it and try not to dwell, because it's a moment in time and you have to look at the bigger picture. 9 times it'll land, sometimes it won't. And sometimes I will get it wrong, but I think I'm at the point where I'd rather say something than hold in my ideas, because it's working. It's working. Yeah.
It's freaking working. And I'm on the sidelines of conversations like that going, hell yeah, keep going. And so often you and other people I admire come up against strong men.
Yes.
And
yeah.
We haven't talked about this, but I'm wondering, does gender play any role in how you react to confrontation?
It was rooted in my childhood. There were some not great moments.
Yeah.
And we can probably thread the needle on what that is without going into detail. So that actually affects me in general. Mm-hmm. So when you're in a male-dominated industry and then enter in sexual advances, sexual harassment, multiple times, and a lot of other things, it did hold me back for a long while, until December. And guess who were the ones that lifted me up and brought me in? And I sent a text to one of them this morning thanking him again for reaching out. And so there are the counter to that, mm-hmm. that gives me chills. Mm-hmm. And the people that lift you up, men included, that recognize that it's harder, mm-hmm. and kind of are there to support, encourage, and really are a blessing. So yes, it affects me sometimes more, but I've also had not great experiences with women in leadership too. So, and I think it's because they've had a hard time and they feel they have more to prove. So it's kind of everywhere. And sometimes it's just personality driven.
I know, but it's so true. That's what kills me, when women in leadership are reacting to something totally different and taking it out on other women. It's a whole nother thing we could talk about. But what I want to tell you is, you are being super vulnerable, and it's helping me understand you and root for you even more. And we share so many similarities, probably why I gravitate to you so much. But there's so much strength in what you're saying. And I feel like if I could do any service to anyone, all 5 million of you listening, I think
5,000,001.
Exactly. I think everyone's listening to gain strength. And that's what you have so much of. So thank you.
Thank you for all your encouragement as well. And I want to do the same for you.
Oh, I mean, I'm just rooting for you, because we are in a really complex, frankly, male-dominated industry. What I worry about is when I hear things like women aren't leveraging AI as much as men. I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. Like, we have to be our best advocate, our best support, be curious, ask the questions. And sometimes for me, it just means taking a step when I'm afraid and just like holding my nose and doing it anyway. And I don't know if it's you used to hold your nose, if that's the right expression, or if you'd always, like, you just did it. But sometimes you just have to dive in. And I feel like you do that so well.
Yeah, I'm trying to dive in. Yeah, I definitely have been playing around with tools and seeing what works.
Beyond AI, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do the scary thing.
Yeah.
Like going up against a CEO is scary in a public forum.
Yeah.
And guess what? Who has the credibility? I'm sorry, but it's true. And you dust off because the only thing, just so you know, from someone who's a fan, you come across as always optimizing to the truth. You don't seem to have an agenda outside of the truth.
Yeah.
So if you stand with integrity, the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah. And at one point, I'm hoping I'll make a lot of money. And I will still try to be as ethical as possible, for sure. But right now, I can say I'm not making a lot of money. Like I'm still not making what I was earning as a CDO. But I also concertedly went after big, grandiose things.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, let's try this, which will hockey stick at some point. I've got so many irons in the fire at this point. So I'm balancing it with long term versus short term as an investment. So I am trying things. I'm trying to take a video format to market and streaming and paid media globally that I negotiated rights to.
Hell yeah.
Without commercial experience. So I'm acting really as a chief commercial officer hat, which is where I found to be super energizing.
Yeah.
Product strategy, monetization strategy. I'm working with all these founders literally daily on how they can better their products, what they should do in terms of thinking about their positioning in general. How should they bolster, build by partner, kind of matchmaking them with other partners in my portfolio. And I don't know, it is super fun. And the fact that I was able to get global rights to a format that's patented and commercialized already, by the way, for one-to-one communications. I had and have a vision. It's actually in a technical POC right now. And I have like the next 3 phases already planned. And I know the distribution and sales motions and I'm pricing strategy. I've got it all staged and ready.
Hey,
But the fact that I've done that is kind of exciting coming from someone who's always been enterprise side and agency side. And I started out with brand and don't even have a degree. So that's exciting. That is very exciting to me.
and I want to recognize that you're celebrating your own win. And I think that's important because like, if you don't, the same person that we need to advocate for you needs to celebrate you, or else you're probably not going to advocate and know your worth and ask for what you deserve, et cetera, et cetera. That's so cool. So if someone's listening going, I want to work with her, 2 things. 1, what's like your ideal customer profile? And also, how do they get in touch?
So I haven't even done my website yet. I've been just kind of stupid, probably. I give other people advice, so I don't take my own. I like to work with founders that have technology that's really different or really good. And I like to help them bring it to market. Because the more that we can bring those pieces forward to optimize, measure, the better we can be as an industry. And I want to help them. I will negotiate a contract to be a part of that. So it's not like I'm just going to give advice away free forever, but I will give free advice at first.
No, she won't.
I always
That's
do.
not true.
I always do it.
Really?
On purpose.
Okay, I need to talk to you after this.
I'll tell you why. And actually, I'll tell you all what. I do usually a 6-hour immersion if I really like something. I will meet, I will do research, and I will do what I call sales and commercialization motion like decklet. And I build these all the time now. The reason I want to do it is twofold. And I don't care to be transparent about it. One is if I have a vision for something and that's the way I operate, it's the way I communicate, I need to make sure that that jives before I enter a partnership. So that investment is worth it on that end.
That makes sense.
The second reason is I'm not cheap and I'm not going to usually take a market norm. I usually go on the upper tier of that market norm because I know I'm worth it. Mm-hmm. And what they're going to get beyond, let's say it's a partnership agreement. They're going to get someone that's going to be invested in solutioning. I'm going to be matchmaking different partnerships. I will be talking about their products in ways that's going to be driving their new category or driving awareness of them and what they do that won't quantify on the back end. So there's a premium for that. So those are the two strategic reasons why I do that. And then that way they feel comfortable about what they're going to pay me to because they have an idea going in. So I feel better about that and doing that for free because it tells me a lot and it tells them.
It makes so much sense. You're being calculated with where you're investing your time.
Yeah.
Like, is this mutually beneficial?
So important.
Yeah. Time is everything. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So yes, I do it for free.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot. That makes me rethink everything. It's like, let's try it on before we buy it.
Yeah. And I'll do like if it's a consultative model where they're buying hours from me for whatever it is they need, fractional CMO, fractional CCO. I'm like, here's pull hours. Just we'll be flexible with it. And then we can decide if we want to proceed. So it's a little bit more low weight sometimes if I really feel good about it and you too. Or if I'm an advisor, for advisory work, I just offered a model where I'm like, well, you're not comfortable with me yet. Advisory shares, which makes sense. That's hard to do. That takes time. Like, look, buy me as an advisor on a quarterly basis. You're going to pay me, $20,000 every quarter. Mm-hmm. And they give you advice as if I'm an advisor. And I'm guaranteed to get that money. I can invest it and it may or may not be worth more or less. But I mean, I don't count the blueberries. So I'm like, that's a different model getting me to the same thing, getting them to totally. So I love like different strategic packaging of how you can think about getting to the end result that maybe everybody wants. Instead of just saying, well, we can't do that. That door is closed. And maybe the door is still closed, but I love strategic negotiations. It's really fun.
That's your curiosity too. And like the digging through and like looking at a box of wires and detangling it and making it. I'm really proud of you. I feel like I've known you for a long time. I haven't. You're a powerful individual. And I'm so humbled that you're on my podcast. Not my, it's all of our podcasts. What is something you're beta testing now that you're like, damn it, I'm just still working on this after all this time, or this just became a new challenge that clearly I need to focus on?
It's hard to not have a day-to-day team. So I struggle with going back full time. I don't think it would be a bad decision for me. If I could get the right role with a right team, I think that that's something I'd be open to. And the figuring out part, I'm like, and not so hemming and hawing. I'm down this path, but if something got presented, I'm part of me misses having the day-to-day built-in team. You have to go out and as an independent and seek that out every single day. And that's something that I'm beta testing the idea of being an advisory firm to a degree. And I don't think it has to be perfect. I think it's something I could go back full time. And
you could,
it has still, who knows? But I'm beta testing going out on my own.
That makes sense. But I think the sky is the limit. So keep talking to yourself. That's, to me, one of my biggest takeaways is your self-awareness is really freaking high, which only enables you to be honest, authentic, connect with others and understand them too. And I think you sniff out, tell me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm wrapping this up and I keep detouring because I'm enjoying this.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's me. I feel like you sniff out who people really are too. And it might be interesting to be on a fly on the wall as someone who's uncomfortable with that, because just like you dust off the book, I think you were just looking for the truth. Like, who are you? What are your motivations? And help me understand.
I had one of those conversations yesterday. Yeah.
How did it go?
Respectfully disagreed. But we both respectfully disagreed. I think, I was just very pointed. I was like, this doesn't make sense. The monetization strategy doesn't make sense. The take doesn't make sense. And this has nothing to do with a DST or an SST.
Yeah.
It's a related adjacent industry, and it's definitely adjacent to what I do, but a little bit different, a little bit on the edge of it. And I was just like, how does this make sense? And he was like, yeah, but it's the publisher thing, right? 10% is fine. It's like, no, it's actually not. It's fine if it's remnant the edges, but that's not my starting point. It's not my second point. It's not my third point. It's probably like fourth down and last on that waterfall effect in terms of what I'll take, because at the end of the day, the conversation was just where he was trying to justify his pricing, and I'm trying to tell him this is where the industry is headed, and there was just this contention that he was like, nope, this is the way I'm going to continue to sell, which is fine. I again respect it fully, but I'm like, publishers are going direct. There's hikes now direct to brands and agencies. Front door and the SSPs is changing.
You get nothing out of this. Like, you're trying to deliver a strategic approach.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, and I'm actually doing it for a purpose. It's for a friend that has a radio show and using so many markets. It's ridiculous. And they own it and they're trying to get to digital commercialization. And I was like, let me just feel some things out. So I was like, that's not going to work. I'm not going to recommend. There's parts I recommend it. He has some amazing points of view. He's super smart, knows the space. But as far as that monetization strategy for the second half, I was like, I just disagree. And so it was a little bit like, but super respectful on his part too. So it happens all the time.
I keep thinking that your self-awareness leads you to understanding your true value. Because how can you advocate for all the things that we hope and wish if you can't close the gap on understanding the value that you actually deliver? And I think you're so clear on your value because you understand that you do shut down last. And that's not a measure that I would ever use, but like, you're delivering value that's going to show in a return on someone's investment, and that costs money. And you are able to really look in the mirror. And so my takeaway is like, what am I not seeing that's in the mirror? Because I guarantee it could symbolize potentially either something I need to work on or more value I should be extracting from the partnerships I deploy. So I just want to say thank you. You're amazing. And I'm glad to be your friend.
So excited for this.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Drink. I've been drinking the whole time. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.